back, Lady Goblin fans. Here we are. It is the Coach's Show. Coach Young's here. Coach, it's hard to believe we're talking about here the last week of the 5A West conference schedule. Lady Goblins have put up a fight. Boy, they just can't get a break here or there, is it not? It's been tough.
We can get all the way to the door. We just can't get it to open. You know, we fought and scratched and clawed and made and got right where we need to be and put ourselves in position to take it, and just seemed to always come up short.
You know, and as bad as we were talking about here, is that the records indicate you still had a shot at play. I mean, it was just unreal. We just needed to win here somewhere, and you could be talking about you fighting for a playoff spot Friday night as well.
It was that close. The Greenbrier game at home, having Siloam down like that on the road, letting that one get away. Huntsville on Monday night. We were still right there in the hunt. We just couldn't get anything good to happen when we needed it to happen. Yeah,
Huntsville kind of come out and kind of staggered you early, and then you just never seemed to be able to recover. You had enough to get you within striking distance, but could never get over the hump.
Right. That's kind of been the story of the season. You know, we may not have a great start or a lull somewhere along the way, and then we'll end up fighting back and getting right there, to where we just need to make one play, and we just never can seem to make that one play happen.
Yeah, the Huntsville game was, I want to say that, to let the Siloam Springs game slip through your fingers a little bit there in the fourth quarter, but come back. And the way the girls responded, they very easily could have rolled over and said, we're packing it in for the rest of the week. We just want to get through it. They came out Monday, kind of got hit early. Huntsville jumped out to 11-0 run to open the game. And but your gals fought back. I mean, right there, right till the end. We talked about it. Had a good look by the quad to take a three at the buzzer. I mean, had a good look. You talked about the play. You designed it. They came right to it. Had a good look. Just couldn't get it to fall. But the girls responded real well.
They really have. They've shown a lot of heart here. In this second half of the conference season, from the Alma game at the turning point, played real well. And probably outside of Greenwood, the last 7 games, they have really shown a lot of character. And you're right, Huntsville came out and got up 11-0. Had a perfect chance to say, forget it, lay down. And they came storming back and, like I said, executed the play at the end of the game and got the shot we wanted. It just didn't go down.
And the gal that you wanted to take it. Yeah. I mean, you can't get any bit better than what you asked. If she probably hits that shot 40 times, 40% of the time, that time it just happened not to fall. And I know that.
To the left.
And she was down on herself. She was beating herself up. But hey, you know what? You fought back. You did it well. Last night against Valonia, kind of was an interesting ball game. You and I talked about this a little bit before the game. It was senior night. That was already an emotional downer in some people's eyes. Some people it's a high, some people it's a downer. But the emotional carryover from the Huntsville the night before for both the girls game, then the boys game, both were very, very good games. It seems like we got into the gym last night at Spook House. It just was not. You couldn't put your thumb. It just was not the place to be the night before.
No, it was a completely different atmosphere.
It was.
Not before. It was full of emotion, and you're right. It affected senior night. Affects. I had a couple of them teared up before the game. A couple of them just, they were ready to go. And of course, you're playing Valonia, which is one of the top teams in this 5A, and they hadn't played the night before. And so you never knew what to expect because another emotional deal, from the night before. How are they going to respond? Nobody gave them a chance, to play. And we came out and, kept it a 12-point game most of the night until right at the end. And that's pretty tough. I was proud of the way we responded. I know we came up short, but, we were right there where a lot of people would have written us off. And we fought them, with everything we had again.
Right in striking distance, you'd get it. You'd hover around that 12, 11, 10. once in a while we get it to 9, and you think, well, maybe we can get a stop here. We can do, but the two big girls they had in the middle really made a huge difference. That Puckett girl and Stanley, you didn't have an answer for her. Even though trying to go at her just wasn't real good, and then they started to hit the threes from the outside. There just wasn't much you could do with that.
Well, and they do a good job of isolating her and clearing out the back. And if that guard, which, there's no backside help, so you really got to sink way off from the wing. And Quad got in there a couple of times, and made her miss the shot or couldn't get it off and made her kick it. But when they skip it all the way across court and she's in the middle of the lane and their girl's out there at the three-point line, that's just so much ground to cover. And late in the game, she hit a couple and, kind of busted it open there at the end. But we gave a good Goblin effort last night against them. I was proud because that was tough.
It was an emotional, tough game, but I thought your gals have responded well. Now, Friday night's going to be 6 games in 10 days. I mean, actually 9 days because we didn't play last Monday. So it's really a brutal schedule. We didn't have it as bad as Huntsville or somebody else. We also got 4 games at home, which made it a little bit easier on the bus ride, not having to make those long bus rides. And the bus rides we get is Friday night. But tonight, this Friday night, going to Alma, which you mentioned earlier, a lot of teams relying on you to come away with a victory because Alma's got something to play for. Your gals are playing for pride, but they could be a spoiler here.
They sure can. Alma's still mathematically in, and whatever happens in our game will have a bearing on who gets in the state tournament. You always want to win your last game, and that seems to be the one that sticks with you. We got them up here, and so we feel like we can go down there and do it again.
That's important. Anything emotionally you want to say about the seniors? I know that it's a moment that you have between them in the locker room. As a coach versus a parent, and I being a parent that's got one that plays, you get more time with their kids than the parents do. So the emotional bond that you're getting as a coach with them over the 3-year period, is immeasurable, not only as a coach, but just relationship-wise. I know it's a heartfelt need. You're going to see Quad leave. She's been a huge inspirational leader and has done everything you've ever asked her to do, and probably more than her skills would allow her to do. If she had I'm not saying anything negatively about anybody, if she had some help in some other areas, could have really helped her game in some other areas.
She's been a 3-year starter, and of course, I had this group as 7th graders, and then was away from them for a couple of years. So I've watched them grow, since they were in the 7th grade, and you spend so much time with them. People don't realize how much time we spend with them, like in the summer, because we go to team camps and we play in summer leagues, and there's just a lot of time on the bus and a lot of time that's outside of school that you really get to know them and you really develop a bond there, like you said. And it's always tough to watch them. It's kind of like losing one of your own, when they graduate, and it's inevitable, but. And there'll be another group come through next year, and you go through it every year. For 30 years, but it never makes it any easier, and they've given a lot. They've done better than a lot of people ever would have dreamed they did. And, you feel for them because they have gotten so close, and you want something good to happen, for them because of their work. And but that last one's always tough.
Yeah, the bond that you can see between the three, and I call them a 3-headed monster, and they're really not. But between the Quad, the shooter, and Chelsea Colvan have really stepped up, and you mentioned it. They've done more than what was expected. When people looked at the Harrison Lady Goblins at the beginning of the 5A West season, and even beginning of the season, we're saying, well, we might as well chalk that one up to that's going to be an easy win for us. Harrison isn't what they used to be this year. They're still down. And let me tell you what, those girls showed up night after night after night. And I think from the Lyndall Thomas, even though you got beat there, from that moment on, they turned the corner. They really have. And they really picked it up even after that. But you saw great improvement from the Lyndall Thomas to the very first conference home game.
You did. And I'll tell you what, nobody works harder than Mallory Honeycutt. I mean, she's had to play inside in the post a lot of times, completely outmatched physically. And but no one works any harder than she does, and we're going to miss her as well. She brings a lot to us because she's pretty emotional and she's a tough girl.
And I didn't want to. I'm not trying to eliminate.
No, I'm not. Because she's in a little different position, than the outside three. But they're going to be missed. You grow attached.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming to Coach's Show. Next week we'll do a Coach's Show. We'll wrap up the season, kind of go over the highs and lows and what we're going to what we saw of the year, and then we'll talk about what to expect. Let's not get too early. We can talk about next season, what we're going to look at, what things we can be expecting from the Lady Goblins in 2011, 2012. We come back, we'll have Coach Dollar. We'll be talking about the hot Harrison Goblins. We'll be right back.